It's here! It's finally here! Hello everybody, my name is SkullKid, and today marks the release of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. At last, the sequel to my favorite game of all time is finally out, and to celebrate, well, today we're here and I'm excited to be unboxing the Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition. And we've got pretty much all the Zelda goodies that came out alongside the game here today to check out. So you could pretty much say this is the ultimate Zelda Tears of the Kingdom unboxing. We've even got a little bonus here with the Majora's Mask of Link, because they have also reprinted some Zelda Amiibo recently, so that's all the more exciting. And I got to pick up the Zelda Majora's Mask Amiibo because, well, you get a SkullKid themed paraglider, and hey, that fits well with the channel, doesn't it? So if you're interested in seeing this Amiibo out in action, or you just want to see me play Tears of the Kingdom, I'll be streaming the game in the next coming weeks and months on the channel, so if you're new here, consider subscribing for that. Alright, so let's start with the main event, the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Collector's Edition. And when I ordered this, I honestly thought it would be the same size as like other collector's editions from recent Nintendo games, but this one is actually very large, maybe like almost 10 centimeters thick. So this is a pretty big box, and I'm not 100% familiar with everything that's inside. I haven't had a close look at it, per se, but this should be exciting. And of course, inside we essentially have the game, an art book, the SteelBook, a pin set, and the IconArt poster, which I think is metal. I'm not 100% sure though, but let's have a dive into the collector's edition. Alright, so looks like we have a kind of two-layer affair going on here. So, first off, we've got the first layer. This one's pretty heavy, actually. Let's get the full box out of the way for now. And first things first, looks like we have the SteelBook for the game. So let's get that out of the packaging. Alright, so we've got the SteelBook over here, and essentially, again, it's kind of going with that, I guess, sort of mural, hieroglyphic kind of aesthetic. I feel like I don't have the right words to describe it, but, you know, it looks like some Zonai. Again, it'll probably make more sense once I've actually played the game, but I've tried to stay mostly spoiler-free. On the side here, of course, everything is kind of gold. If I kind of glance it into the light at the right angle, we see that it says The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom on the side. And at the back, well, we kind of have a continuation of that mural. And inside, we don't actually have the game, because the game is actually included separately this time around. So let's pop that one out from the back. What can I say? It's always so satisfying to unwrap a new game, especially when that game is Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So here we've got the front cover for the game, looking really stylish. Of course, we've got the regular Switch spine, and at the back we've got the info about the game, which says explore, create, and discover, venture into the islands in the sky, craft and construct fantastic weapons and vehicles, and brave the cataclysm in Hyrule. And of course, it is compatible with Legend of Zelda Amiibo, which we're gonna get to in just a second here. And inside the regular case, we essentially have this is the exact same design than you have in the SteelBook's insides. Here we have the actual game cartridge, which is looking pretty similar to Breath of the Wild in style. That's obviously probably intentional. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm gonna pop this in my Switch right after filming this, and it'll be exciting to play the game with you guys on my live streams. So if you're interested, subscribe to the channel for more live streams in the coming weeks. I will say I'm very happy that Nintendo actually chose to give us the regular game case and the SteelBook, because in recent special editions that Nintendo's done, they've had a habit of only giving you the game in the SteelBook in North America, and then including both in the European release of the special edition, which I always feel like it's a bummer, because it is cool to have a SteelBook, but you also don't want to miss out on the regular retail packaging, because obviously the art is very different here, so I'm really happy that we actually have both this time around. So next up we have a box here, and I believe that this is the pin set for the game. So here we can see the front of the box, just the little, I guess, kind of Zonai looking logo is what would be my guess. And on the side kind of emulates the side of the Tears of the Kingdom of the outside box of the special edition. This is kind of hard to tell on camera, but this is actually a dark kind of green on the sides, while the front is actually black. And yeah, we have nothing else too special here. If we pop it open, we will see the beautiful Zelda pins we have going on here. So we get 4 different pins. If we go into more detail here, it's kind of hard to tell again that it's a sort of dark green, but essentially these are, I guess, 4 different Zonai symbols, but having not really played the game yet, I can't really comment on that, and I'm not super familiar with the lore. Let's see, if I take one out, just for fun, so we get a little pin like this, with kind of green painted on this like golden pin. And I'm sure these symbols mean something, but now it's kind of hard to tell. But the back says The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and of course, yeah, it's just your standard pin. You can remove this little bit if you want to actually use it on something. To be honest, whenever people give me pins, I pretty much just keep them boxed. So yeah, these are pretty nice pins overall. They feel like high quality, and I'm happy to have them. So last but not least, it looks like we have the art book here, and if I can just grab onto this. So let's get that one open. Alright, so here we have the art book that comes with the collector's edition, and I don't know if you can tell, but essentially this is kind of a matte black cover, which is actually embossed with a, I guess, subtle little, I mean, it's pretty much the Ultra Hand logo, essentially. And then here on the edge, you have essentially a glossy black kind of little design. And of course, we've got the Tears of the Kingdom logo right here on the bottom. On the spline, it's essentially still using that dark green kind of background. And then we just have a little symbol here. And the back is all essentially glossy. With this design going on here. Some fancy Zonai designs going on this book, that's for sure. And if we open it up, of course, there's probably at least 100 pages of art from the game here, including what seems to be like probably the starting area, to paraglider designs. We've got Link himself and a bit of his designs and stuff. Even that stone talus that we saw in one of the trailers back in the day. So we've got some full-page art, and then a bunch of concept art for stuff as well. Some of this stuff you obviously don't encounter until later on in the game. So there are obviously some spoilers to some degree in this book, so I'm not really going to look at it in much detail. But it is very interesting, and of course, something I'll want to go back to in more detail in the future, essentially. But of course, as you would expect with any sort of Nintendo art book, this is obviously really good quality on the print, and of course the art is very interesting itself, because we're getting to learn more about the concepts for the game and its design. Oh man, they even have a reference to the new Link Amiibo costume they did for Link's Awakening. Alright, so I just took a second to flip through the book off camera a little bit to get an idea of like what's actually inside, just so I can summarize it without spoiling. But essentially, if you're curious, there's a little bit over like 200 pages I think it goes to like, yeah, like pretty much, there's 203 pages of mostly like concept art and I guess environment art for the game. So of course there are like, I guess, minor spoilers depending on, I guess mostly if you care about a couple set pieces and characters. I don't think there's not really any story spoilers as far as I can tell in here, but it's a very interesting book, and there's a couple design comments. It seems like most of the comments are like not translated, like it mostly just seems to be in Japanese still for the most part, but this is obviously one of the very interesting books to have, and it's a little bit similar in style to maybe what you could have seen in Breath of the Wild's Creating a Champion book. So overall, this is a very interesting book. 200 pages of like concept art for Tears of the Kingdom. That's really exciting, and I'm happy to add this to the collection. Alright, so we may have looked at a bunch of goodies already, but that's actually only the first half of this box. We have a whole other section. In the second layer here, we've got this whole other little thing going on. So first off, we've got this little piece of cardboard, which I guess it looks like they're instructions for the IconArt poster. So this is pretty much just a fancy warning card, but the main thing it's saying is that apparently there's a magnet and like a strong adhesive if you want to attach it is a metal poster, if you want to attach the metal poster to the wall, and they're just kind of warning you that apparently this is really strong, and if you stick it to stuff it might actually like break your wall or something, so be careful. If you want to read it, here are the full warnings, and you can just pause the video here. But yeah, I'm not going to worry about the magnet for now, because I'm probably not going to stick it on the wall for now. But yeah, okay, so the metal poster comes in its own little box, which of course was upside down, but we have it, the steel poster for Tears of the Kingdom, and they really love using this design in this collector's edition, but we have, again, the Tears of the Kingdom logo. This is kind of just a nice little box by itself. At the back, we have IconArt, and then the green little circular patterns, which are repeated. But anyways, let's open this up. Let's see what there is with this steel poster. I believe... okay, we can kind of see it already, but yes, this is essentially the keyframe art for the game. And, I mean, there is some paper here. We're gonna try to keep that intact. Alright, so the rest of the box doesn't really have anything inside. It's mostly just padding of some sorts to keep the metal poster safe. Yeah, okay, so we've got like a magnet here at the bottom, which is in its own bag, but of course it's a magnet, so it's like stuck to it pretty well. Again, we've got some more warnings. Yeah, so this is a magnet, and one side is like pretty sticky, so you can stick this on your wall, I guess. But, you know, I'm not gonna do that, or at least not now. But let's just open up this poster. And again, we've got IconArt. I can't say I'm familiar with this company, but I'm guessing if they keep talking about it, it's because it's a official kind of company that specializes in this. So, you know, the back here kind of shows you where you should put the magnet. And yeah, so this is pretty much a metal plate with a nice rendition of the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom key art on it. Personally, I don't know if I'm gonna hang this on my wall. I don't know if this is weird, but I would have kind of liked it if it was using I guess a like little stand that you can put it on a desk or something. That would have been really cool, I think, to also supply that. But I guess you can mount it as you wish, and as I said, they supply some sort of magnet with like an adhesive on it. But yeah, this is about the size of like a regular standard sheet of paper, if you're wondering. If we have a little bit of a close-up look, we see that yes, it is indeed pretty much the Zelda key art, and of course it's a kind of semi-gloss finish because, I mean, it is metal essentially. But yeah, it looks very nice. I'm happy with the collector's edition. Overall, I would say that the book is probably my favorite part, as it is with most collector's editions. But, you know, this is a very nice metal poster. We don't get to see that every day, so it's pretty cool to have. So that was a lot of stuff we just unboxed, but we have more! And we're continuing with the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Special Edition Pro Controller. And then I think we're gonna wrap up with the case and the Amiibo after that. But essentially right here, we've got the controller looking very good. This is the first like special edition controller I ever buy. I've kind of just been rocking the regular one ever since shortly after I got my Switch itself. Nothing too fancy at the back, although it is kind of nice, you know. They acknowledge the grip colors on the little information about the Pro Controller. But on the side we have, you know, close-up shots of how it looks with the buttons and essentially the design that they've got going on there. And but yeah, let's dive into it. Let's have a look for ourselves. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've looked at a Pro Controller in general. I'm not sure if this goes out. Anyways, let's just grab it somehow. Alright, so here's the controller, and of course, like any good Pro Controller, it comes with a USB-A to USB-C cable so that you can charge it. But here we have the controller itself, and what do we have? You can already kind of see it. Oh, look at that! Oh my god, it looks so good! Oh man. It's like the beautiful gold design going on here, and the Triforce is more subtle. It very much depends which angle you look at it from. It's like almost invisible from certain angles. And then, yeah, look at that. Look at this beautiful, beautiful Triforce. I guess the texture of the controller itself is still pretty smooth, but you've still got this like subtle little design. And of course with the gold accents, we've got like one grip being white, one grip being essentially the standard black, I would say. Looks like the standard one to me at least. But this, yeah, this looks very nice. It feels so weird because my Pro Controller is like very old at this point. Like, I didn't realize how beat up my controller was until I'm like playing with this one, and it just feels like it's night and day. It feels so different. It feels like very smooth, the joysticks, and these feel very nice too. And let's appreciate the only time that this little glossy thing will actually be clean and just look completely pristine. And yeah, if we look at the back, we have a big Nintendo Switch logo. Actually, I think this is different from the regular one. Wait a second. Yeah, so the regular one, I don't know if they switched them at some point for some controllers, but my regular standard Pro Controller just says Nintendo. And this one, of course, doesn't say anything on the front, but then it has a full Nintendo Switch logo on the back, so that is an interesting difference. As I said, I don't know if they have switched that for regular ones at some point, or if this is unique to the special edition one. This is a very nice looking Zelda controller. I will say, if I had to pick something, I find it kind of weird that, personally, that like one grip is black and one grip is white. I'd be okay if they were both white. It is kind of weird to have a plain black and then just a white one. But you know, I'm saying this out loud now, and I'm wondering, does that have anything to do with the fact that Link lost an arm in Tears of the Kingdom? Is that supposed to represent that in some way? I'm not sure, but that's kind of a cool idea to think about now that I think about it. But yeah, this is all obviously a very nice feeling controller, and what can I say, right? Any excuse to play my Switch with a Zelda controller just makes it that much better. Alright, and now let's have a look at the Zelda Special Edition Nintendo Switch case. I have a really bulky case that's like this thick, where you can put the charging brick inside, and I thought that was really cool at the time. But this, I had been thinking about getting a slimmer Switch case for a while, and to be honest, this is like the perfect excuse for me. If I'm gonna get one, may as well just get a special edition like Zelda one. But here we go. Oh, there's like screen protectors too. I almost forgot about that. It's easy to like bend them the way they package it. And here we go, look at that. So again, they've pretty much been using the same design for, I guess, most of these special edition products. But here we have the Triforce again and the gold pattern logo. And, you know, this is a kind of semi-rigid case. Like, it's not, like, super hard, but it is fairly hard, and I think it would protect your Switch pretty well if you're, like, wondering about that. But, of course, our zippers here are a little bit like a little string braided kind of thing with a little gold plastic piece. Yeah, and at the back, we essentially have this little golden Ultra Hand logo again, and depending on the lighting, you can see again some more little patterns, and even a Nintendo Switch logo that's kind of just sneakily hiding there, and even a Nintendo logo too, apparently. So overall, looks pretty good, and like, what better way do you have to bring your Switch, especially if you bought that Tears of the Kingdom OLED, which realistically is the only thing I decided I can't justify buying. So if we look inside the case, there's like a, I guess, double layer of padding, which I guess makes sense, right, to account for the joysticks, and you get space for essentially 5 game cartridges, and then a little pouch, which personally I never dare to put much in these pouches, because I don't know, like, how it fits for the height clearance of the case. So nothing too fancy. This is kind of just flat, and yeah, it's a pretty straightforward interior. Obviously, this is a very nice case. It's Zelda themed, and it's relatively rigid, and it's, you know, about 1 inch thick, I suppose. So if you're in the market for this sort of case, this is pretty good. Of course, most of the reason to get this would be the Zelda Flare. I wouldn't say this is the most safe case. It's still fairly bendable. Like, if I was buying this for it not being Zelda, I don't know that I would pick this case personally. It is thinner, which is kind of what I was wanting it for, but of course this one is just very cool looking, so it's hard to complain. I don't know if this is like the intended use of this, but I suppose the reason they fold it might be because you could play this in like tabletop mode, so to speak, like this. So if you look at the side of the box, we do have confirmation, I guess, that you can use it folded, and that's meant to be used in tabletop mode, so I guess that was intentional. That kind of explains the design all of a sudden. So this case comes with 1 screen protector for each, so I guess 1 OLED and 1 regular Switch screen protector. These are just regular, like, film screen protectors. I'm not planning to use it because I've had a tempered glass screen protector on my Switch pretty much since day 1. But the back of the box here says that the Switch can carry up to 5 games, and then you essentially have just instructions for how to install the screen protectors on the Switch. But it looks like the blue screen protector is for the regular Switch, and then the red screen protector here is for the Switch OLED. So, you know, I'm gonna hold on to these for the future just in case, but of course I don't really need any of these right now for my current Switch. Alright, so last but not least, we have the 2 Zelda Amiibo for the game. Well, I mean, okay, one is a bonus, Majora's Mask Amiibo, and surprisingly the only Amiibo they released for this game. It is surprising, though, that they only released 1 Amiibo, considering essentially all the Amiibo that we got for Breath of the Wild. But let's go ahead and unbox this one, and of course, at the back, it's just saying we can get some sort of goodies for Tears of the Kingdom. Pretty much works the same way as it did with Breath of the Wild and Amiibos. Alright, let's free Link from his plastic prison. Ah, there we go. Look at that. Look at this beautiful, beautiful Amiibo. The quality has just tremendously gone up since the first wave of Amiibos. It's crazy. It just looks so fantastic, so detailed, and honestly just a really cool looking pose for Link. But because this is Tears of the Kingdom, he technically has the Master Sword, which is very cool, because last time around in his Amiibo, he was only essentially using a Traveler's Sword, I believe, just to be on par with what you would typically get for the Great Plateau. I'm just completely amazed with the details on this Amiibo. It looks so high quality, like from any angle, no matter how up close you look at it. this might have to be the best amiibo yet, and even the recent ones were already very good, so this is really impressive. Like, if we look at this, Link even has, like, chainmail armor under the Hylian tunic, which, first of all, I didn't even know was there from the game, but then look at that, it's so detailed, like, it's so tiny, and yet it's so detailed. That's absolutely wild. For reference in terms of quality, this is the first ever Link amiibo they did. Of course, the sword is very basic compared to the Master Sword you might see here. And also, just their stands were kind of wacky at the start for how they actually hold the amiibo in place. But the details are just mind-blowing. Like, as I said, even compared to Breath of the Wild Link, like, the chainmail armor wasn't there. Obviously, the quality was still what I consider to be very good back then, but even then, like, the quality and the detail has just gone up, and interestingly, the hair color is actually very different, even though they're supposed to technically be the same Link. Like, if we compare the arrows, they are proportionally larger on the old one, like, less lifelike, I suppose, than the new one. Alright, and last but not least, let's look at a bit of our little bonus, which is the Zelda Majora's Mask Link amiibo. And again, this one technically talks about Breath of the Wild, but you get arguably one of the coolest unlocks you would get in that game, and potentially in Tears of the Kingdom, which is kind of the Fierce Deity set from Majora's Mask. So this is obviously very cool, and this amiibo, obviously, I mean, it's a simpler figure in general compared to the one we just saw, but it's a very nice figure nonetheless, and I mostly care about it for the unlockables more so than the figure for once at least. Alright, and here you have it. That is Link from Majora's Mask indeed, with of course the Goron mask, looking sharp as always. Of course, you know, this one's based off of a game with a much simpler model, so obviously the whole amiibo is a little more simple in general, but here we've got the nice little shield from Majora's Mask, which is obviously different from the one in Ocarina of Time, and yeah, I mean, hey, it's pretty much Majora's Mask Link, what can I say? And unsurprisingly, it feels very true to life to the style of the Ocarina of Time Adult Link amiibo they made. And, you know, here we've got the interesting sword from Majora's Mask, which is, I guess, a more regular sword that, you know, not the Master Sword, not anything too fancy, typical to the game. And, I mean, the face design is pretty detailed, and, you know, I would say it looks pretty accurate to, especially what we get in Majora's Mask 3D, essentially. So there you have it, the two amiibos that we unboxed, of course the brand new Link Tears of the Kingdom amiibo, and also me just benefiting from those reprints so I can get the Fierce Deity and the Majora's Mask style stuff in Tears of the Kingdom. Overall, very exciting. These are very nice looking amiibo. And there you have it, so yeah, this is pretty much everything Nintendo released for Tears of the Kingdom. There's a lot here. Obviously, as with many collector's editions, the art book is probably my favorite of all, but it was also nice to check out a Pro Controller for the first time since 2018, and if there was one Pro Controller to get for me, of course it's gonna be the Zelda-themed one, and this one doesn't disappoint. We've got some nice pins, a cool Switch case, which again you can't even see really the Hyrule crest unless you're at certain angles, so it's pretty discreet. And of course the beautiful IconArt poster, which is a metallic sheet. Then we have finally the SteelBook, and Nintendo's inclusion to actually include the regular case, which is very nice. And of course we've got the beautiful and really detailed new Link amiibo from Tears of the Kingdom, and as a little bonus, one of the reprints, the Majora's Mask Link amiibo. So that's a whole bunch of Zelda goodness, and I'm just so excited for this game in general. I'm excited to stream it. I'll be streaming it more in the coming weeks on the channel. I'm incredibly hyped for the game. It's going to be exciting, and what better way to play it than with this beautiful Zelda controller. and of course I'll have to go back to the art book once I'm a little bit further in the game to appreciate the details more and avoid any potential minor spoilers. But anyways, are you excited for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Did you pick any of these things up for yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this Zelda Tears of the Kingdom unboxing video, don't forget to give it a like, it always helps me out. And share this with a friend who's maybe looking to expand his Zelda collection. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Zelda Tears of the Kingdom content, unboxings, live streams, and all things gaming right here on Skull Kid Gaming. Have a great day, everybody, and now I'm just gonna go play Tears of the Kingdom.